SRIRAM's IAS, serving the nation since 1985. Ab offline ho ya online, we are the lifeline.
Hello students, welcome to SRIRAM's IAS. Welcome to this current affair class. This current affair class is going to help you in your upcoming prelims examination. This is class number 22. Do watch the whole series. I am Mayank Bharadwaj taking this class of Indian polity. Again, a new important issue was in news. It was about constitutional morality. Now, you must have heard about morality while reading ethics as a subject. What does morality simply means? Morality is the power of discrimination between right and wrong. If you are able to discriminate between right and wrong, if you are able to see whether something is right or something is wrong, then you have that faculty. Then you have morality. People who have faded morality are usually unable to see the right and the wrong in situations, especially in difficult situations. So the basis of that morality can be many. It can come out from the values which you have learned from your parents, from your religion, from the society, also from constitution, because constitution also holds several values such as fraternity, such as human dignity, such as equality. All those things can be termed as constitutional morality. So ability to take decision, ability to discriminate between the right and wrong on the basis of values such as equality, human dignity, liberty, all these will be termed as constitutional morality. I hope you have understood this. So this was a news of The Hindu, which it says that the origins and the nuisance of the concept. So it has covered, an article was there and it has covered the concept since the beginning. Constitutional morality is a civic culture of respect for constitutional forms and offices. So any kind of constitutional offices which are created, can be constitutional bodies or statutory bodies or any other bodies which are working for the governance and efficient governance of this country, have their values based on these principles, these important principles of equality, of dignity, of liberty, of fraternity. Okay, none of these offices which are created can go beyond these values. Who is the protector of these values? If you see, the custodian of the constitution is the court. So Supreme Court, High Court and all the courts, they are the custodian of the constitution, and at the same time they are the custodian of the fundamental rights. They are also the custodian of constitutional morality. It is also expected from them to follow constitutional morality when interpreting the constitution. Constitutional morality must also be followed by the parliament while making the law. Okay, so I hope you are getting a grip over the concept. Now think about a situation. We all know we all understand the concept of equality. Okay, sorry, give me a second. I need eraser. Yeah. So we all understand the concept of equality. There shall be equal protection of law and equality before law. Now, in order to implement equality, if the court interprets the statute in a very strict manner, what will happen? Think of the situation. If a man has committed a crime, a heinous crime, and he has been subjected to the trial, and finally the court has awarded this man a death penalty. Should he be given death penalty? Yes, of course he should be given death penalty. What if the same crime was committed by a woman? Now, third, what if the same crime was committed by a woman and later on, after the trial, after the punishment was given, after the punishment was awarded, the courts came to know that this woman was pregnant? If the court dismisses the punishment of this woman on humanitarian grounds, because it is not one life involved, now there are two lives involved. Several people may come up and say this is the infringement of the principle of equality. But is it? That's the question. That is where the constitutional morality comes in. I hope you have understood this. It is everywhere. Think about another form of equality. Everybody is equal in front of law. Good enough. Everybody should be treated equally by law. The state should not discriminate any person, any citizen on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth. That's also good. But then why reservations are given? Then why special provisions are made? Because the brute and strict interpretation of the term equality may go against constitutional morality. Some section of people which were marginalized, which were historically and educationally backward, needs more support of the country, more support of the constitution, more support of the parliament and the courts, so that they can come into the mainstream of the society, they can become the part and a healthy part, and equality can be maintained in the country. Or else there will be perpetual inequality in the society. The divides which were already there are going to increase even further. They are going to become even more deeper. And that is the reason why the focus of the court, the focus of the parliament is more on constitutional morality while making a law or while interpreting a particular statute or a provision of the law. So, if any code is made, code simply means any law is made, there is a soul of this particular law. That soul depends on humanity, because law also takes care of the human emotion and the human feeling, because laws are made for humans or to regulate humans, and for that reason it becomes paramount to understand the importance of constitutional morality. That simply means the source of this law, of course the procedure has to be followed, that it must go to the parliament and parliament is going to bring the law, but the soul of this particular law, the basis of this law must depend on the constitutional provisions, on the constitutional morality, and on the principles such as equality, dignity, liberty, fraternity. If these things are missing, the law may persist, but the soul is going to die, and hence it will be of no use. Let's say if parliament passes such a law which does not have the soul, or the elements of dignity and liberty and fraternity are missing, then it is infringing the basic structure of the constitution. So it is the duty of the court to jump in and to interpret the constitution in such a way that it upholds the constitutional morality. It should look that particular law from the prison of constitutional morality, not from the prison of popular morality, that's different, but from the prison of constitutional morality, that is it upholding the constitutional values or not. I hope this much lecture is enough for you to understand the concept. Let's see the other slide. What is the context? Recently, the Constitutional Court has adopted constitutional morality as a tool to interpret laws. We have discussed this. A test to adjudicate the validity of statutes. So whether a particular statute, whether a particular law which is passed by the parliament is valid or not, as we have already discussed, if it is missing the important principles such as it does not respect the human dignity, or it is going against the fraternity, immediately it should be struck down by the court to uphold the constitutional morality. Sometimes the court may also be questioned for doing this thing, but that depends on the moral fabric of the court, which is very strong. We believe that courts are going to implement constitutional morality in every interpretation it does, in every order and every judgment it makes against the government or in favor of the government. Constitutional morality entails adherence to constitutional values. Constitutional values we have already seen, such as dignity, human dignity, liberty, equality, fraternity, all these things. We are going to see what it upholds. Now see this, these are some of the example of constitutional morality, and they are inserted in our constitution under different headings. If you see preamble, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. If you see fundamental rights protects against arbitrary state action. You know, state is very powerful. In order to stop or limit the power of the state so that it does not infringes upon the rights of the individuals or right of the citizens or right of a section of people in the society, the principle of constitutionalism has to be followed. That simply means limited government. And what limits the government? What gives the power to people over government is this concept of fundamental rights, where if it is curtailed or infringed under Article 32 and under Article 226, the citizen of India have the right to approach the Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. Directive principles, if you see this, guides policy with Gandhian social and liberal ideas. This, you know, is a mine of constitutional values and ideals. If you see the values, Gandhian values, social values, liberal values, this is a mine, I would say. It's an ocean of constitutional values, of constitutional morality. And that is the reason why Parliament is expected to look towards the directive principles of state policy while making laws. Fundamental duties. It encourages civic responsibility. That all of us do have fundamental rights, but at the same time, we also have to follow our duties. So, civic responsibility. Responsibility of the citizen towards the nation, towards the country is upholded by fundamental duties. Very few constitutions around the world have this feature, and Indian constitution is one among them. Checks and balances. All the organs of the government, nobody is supreme, nobody is sovereign. People are sovereign in this country, and that is the reason why we do have checks and balances. We follow a parliamentary form of government where there is a constant check of parliament on the executive, and the laws made by the parliament or the actions which are taken by the executive are checked by the Supreme Court or by the high courts. So judiciary is constantly upholding the constitutional morality, the constitutional values, if the parliament and if the executive tries to go over them or tries to, infringe them or curtail them. So this check and balance is a very important provision as far as the Constitution of India goes. So origin of this concept of constitutional morality comes from Greek historian, where they have stressed upon the need to have a constitution to limit the power of the state. A written constitution helps a lot. Even if it is unwritten, there is a set of rules, a body of rules which helps to limit the power of the state. And they said, thousands of years back, that some kind of constitution is very important which upholds the morality in the society. There are several values which will be written in these constitutions, and the constitution is going to uphold those values. The organs which are made through the constitution, whether it be executive, whether it be judiciary, or whether it be parliament or legislature, they are going to uphold the constitutional morality which is written in the constitution. There will be limited government. Constitutionalism will be followed. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar has also warned that a constitution can be perverted without changing its form, and he emphasized self-restraint to preserve democracy. Now, self-restraint, what is this? By the leaders, by the judges. The judges should espouse for constitutional morality, not popular morality. That is where the importance of self-restraint comes. Okay. Similarly, the leaders of the country who hold immense amount of power, the executive, the prime minister, the council of minister, they must also look towards the directive principles while they are implementing some law or while they are making a policy in the parliament. Importance of constitutional morality. There are, many importance. See, non-transactional constitution. A constitution must remain impartial. So, in order to have impartiality, constitutional morality is very much important. And there are other things also. It balances the forms and operation and emphasizes on constitutional processes. So, in a nutshell, you have understood the idea of constitutional morality, which is very good, and if not followed, the laws will be there, but the soul of those laws will be missing. I hope you are getting this idea. It's a bit complex idea, but it's very important for you to understand that every law, policy or legislation or provision of the law which is made must be backed by the constitutional morality. Every interpretation done by the court should be done with the prism of constitutional morality, not through popular morality, not through anything else, not through politics. So, key Supreme Court judgments, if you see, everywhere Supreme Court has been, emphasizing upon this important issue of constitutional morality. Constitutional morality is essential for good governance. Okay, there was a patch of land few years back in Delhi, and this belonged to railways. But there were few people who were living. This has become a slum area, and it was the winter season, somewhere in December or January. The administration came, dragged all these people out at night. At night. There were old people, there were children, there were women who were living here. Do you really think the step taken by government upholded the constitutional morality? I do not think so. This was a very immoral, unethical practice which was done by the government at the end. The government was hugely criticized. The action of the executive was hugely criticized. They said that we were just following the orders of our officials. It's okay. You can follow the order, but you could do it in the morning. You can do it when the winter has passed. Think about old people, think about women and children who has become homeless just because a governance body is following its order. So, constitutional morality is of paramount importance when it comes to governance. That you are doing this, but there shall be some kind of compassion, there shall be some kind of, human dignity which you should uphold while taking any decision, while making any policy. Even if it is an order which you have to follow, you should think about the consequences, not only whether the law has been followed or not, but has it been followed in the true spirit, looking it from the prism of constitutional morality. Again, I am repeating this. Similarly, in another case, Supreme Court directed high-ranking official to adhere to constitutional morality. This case, it is fit for it. Another case, the Supreme Court linked morality to second basic structure. See, this is a very important issue. Second basic structure doctrine, restricting arbitrary power of the government. In Navtej Singh case, it has upholded the LGBTQ rights by striking down this section 377. It has impacted the article relating to equality, human dignity and liberty and freedom. And right to privacy. Who can forget about right to privacy case? This was very important to uphold the constitutional morality in India. So courts are doing its job. Similarly, Parliament is also doing its job. Concerns regarding constitutional morality. Sometimes what happens is there is no clear definition which is given. What is constitutional morality? There is no clear definition. So maybe In some cases, there is a kind of as given violation of the separation of power. One organ of the government, such as judiciary, may overreach the executive, or if it moves forward, can also make law, overreaching the jurisdiction of the parliament or legislature on the name of constitutional morality. Now, it should not be allowed. Every organ must remain in its limit. The principle of separation of power, which is the basic structure doctrine, a part of it, must not be violated on the name of constitutional morality. This is also important, and this is an important thing to keep in mind. So, constitutional morality is vital for upholding democratic values. We have no doubt in this. This is very true statement. However, courts must balance their role to prevent judicial overreach. Courts must not show any kind of overreach on executive or on legislature. Maintaining separation of power is essential for democracy. Truly. So, we have understood the meaning of constitutional morality. We have understood why it is important. We have seen several cases where court has upholded this principle of constitutional morality. We have also seen examples that if constitutional morality is not followed, the laws may remain, but the soul, the basis of that law, the ground on which that law is there, the spirit with which that law has to be implemented will just evaporate. It will be of no meaning. So I hope you have understood this important concept and can be asked in your upcoming examination. So be ready for it, and thank you very much for joining me in this lecture. We will be coming up with next lecture, a next important topic in the next class. Thank you very much.